Hello and welcome to another video. This is our September 2016 on a 66 plate BMW M240i, finished in Estoril Blue metallic with the 8-speed ZF gearbox, the auto gearbox with the paddle shift. The car has covered 28,000, I think it's 593 miles, with full main dealer service history, which is all in the Idrive. We sold this car a couple of years ago to the gentleman, and he's basically opted for a smaller car. So we've been lucky enough to purchase it back. It's got a really great spec on the car. I'm going to take you around the car and show you that the boys have done a great job of machine polishing the bodywork. You can see the gloss on the paintwork there. I think we fitted the black gloss grills when we had it last. We've got front and rear parking sensors on the car and headlight wash, which you don't see on many, with the xenon lights. Now, the front bumper is in really nice condition. It is not pitted like most BMWs of this age. If I come in close, and you see, it's in really, and even down at the bottom here, it's another area where they get pitted, and then along the front, and up on this top section here, quite often see quite large stone chip on this front top of the bumper around the badge. Sorry, I'm trying to think about what I've got to say next. Okay, so we come down and see this side. All of the headlights, again, I'm going to come in close. Look, they're not pitted. The lenses are really clear, which is really nice. It's really sharp. If you look down the side of the car, again, really nice condition. All the panels nice and true, and the wheels, which we'll show you in a minute. Now, he not long ago fitted some F1 Goodyear F1 tyres. I'd say they're still on about 7 mil of tread, or just under 6.8 to 7 mil. We're going to come up onto the bonnet here. I'll take you along the front first, and if I see a stone chip, I'll point it out. Okay, so if I can, it's very small. There's one. We've touched in, so that's why it's catching the light. Very tiny, as you can see when I pull back out. And there's one just there that we've popped some paint in. We're going to put some lacquer in that, but it's really small. If I come back out, the bright lights that are above me are highlighting the paint that we've put in, but there is nothing across the middle or the back of the bonnet. I mean, just look at the shine on that. The guys, there's two guys that we have here, and they spend a whole day, the pair of them, on a car. So there's a lot of effort, time put into bringing the cars up to this sort of quality, which, you know, a lot of garages can't afford to spend that sort of time on a car. But being a small family-run business, we're able to do so, and that's why we get such great results. You won't buy a car in this condition from the likes of supermarkets and your Kazoos of the world and stuff like that. We'll just look down the side of the car. Again, like a mirror. While we're here, we've got the M Sport brakes. All the wheel is in lovely condition, near side rear there. We've got the LED lights, if I just lock and unlock, under the door handles there. No damage on the mirrors. And then just coming down to the front, and the tyres, just for those who want to know, they're not run flats, the Goodyear Eagle F1s, so no run flats on this car. That's the other wheel. Just going to come back out. It's always a bit tricky when you've got a lot of bright sunlight outside And then we've got these bright lights inside. The sort of camera's trying to work out which light to go with, I think. Really looking great. Let's come around and show you this side. And as I walk round, you can see that reflection. So driver's front wheel, again, all in lovely condition, as are the wing mirrors, no damage. And original glasses in these wing mirrors, because they're not cheap. I think they're oil filled. And then the door edge, LED light there as well. Rear wheel. And then if you look round the filler cap, another area to check out for scratches. No scratches there, and if we pop that open, this car is good to run on the E10 fuel. All nice and clean in there. We've got the sun protection glass at the back. We've got the subtle boot spoiler on there as well. Just come up and show you this boot lid. We'll just come across here so you can see there are no nasty scratches or anything, no ding dents. Come down, we've got, like I say, front and rear parking sensors. And then the last owner has fitted, and this is genuine, we have the receipt for it, the BMW Diffuser, M Performance Diffuser, with the M Performance exhaust. Just going to show you along the top of the bumper there. If I come down under the car, you'll see it's got the rear M Performance box, so it sounds really good, nice with the chrome tips. And like I say, we've got that receipt. That's all come from BMW. And it just gives it an extra bit of burble. Now we've also on this car got adaptive M Sport suspension. And you have to be very careful because there are some cars that are advertised with all these features and they don't necessarily have it. We spec check all these cars properly, and this car does have the adaptive M Sport suspension. Just checking out this door card, there's no damage on there, no damage on the edge, all lovely and clean under there. Show you the door shut, all in really nice condition. All of the rubbers. And we've got the button for the bolsters. This rocker button inflates the bolsters here and here. All of the leather in really nice condition. Just going back to the adaptive suspension, so the shock absorbers are different and they have a valve which will allow the fluid in the shock absorber to adjust and move from one side of the shock to the other and make the suspension either firmer or softer. So you can get a more comfortable ride or a much more sportier and responsive chassis. As you can see in the back there, hardly been touched. We've got the fold down headrests in the back there as well. And I think the armrest is sliding. We'll check that out. Yeah, that's another option. Sliding armrest. Got the Idrive wheel. So we've got professional media in here. You can write on the top of that Idrive wheel to put your addresses for your navigation or search for music. Got heated seats, the hexagon trim with the Estoril Blue finisher along the bottom there, which matches with nicely with the outside of the car. So we can open the boot or release the boot lock with the key. just going to show you bits that you don't always get to see on a lot of the videos, but just to show you just how clean the car is and all of the carpet up there. And then down in the boot, all lovely and clean. We've got drop down seats as well, the little 60/40 drop down seats. And then under here, we've got the first aid kit and locking wheel nuts in there as well. Battery. Close that down. Okay, so we'll take a look in on the driver's side. We're just going to flip those lights off. So as I mentioned, we've got the anti-dazzle folding mirrors as well, so you can fold the mirrors in with this button. Because the car's been turned off, it might not close back up. Oh, it will. Now if you press and hold the lock button in the center of the key, when you get out, it will lock the, it will fold the mirrors in. The Harman Kardon sound system, 2 speakers in that door, further speakers under the seat, and then up again in front of the navigation, you've got a big speaker up here and more in the back. In fact, I can show you that they're in the back here. If I can get in. There we go. Bit of reflection there. So the driver's seat, let's take a look at the driver's seat. And the bit everyone likes to check is the bolsters. There's no wear on the bolsters. All of the base of the seat is in really nice condition. We're going to also put some leather balm on the seats. We don't do it before the video because as it's soaking in, it makes the seats look like a sort of patchy. So we always do that after we've done a video. So the best thing to do is try and leave it to soak into the leather. Again, door shuts, no wear on the edges there, look. And the steering wheel, if you look at the steering wheel, the leather on it, again, no wear, no dig marks or scratches in it. Trying to okay, what I'll do, I'll jump in, I'll close the door up. Okay, might as well start it up, let it warm up so we can, if you can hear it now. We won't rev it any harder than that while it's just warming the engine. We'll pop the lights back on. There we go. And you can see there we have 28,593. We have the mode button. So this mode button on this side is used to go between, this is the full black panel display. Just try and zoom in a bit closer, there we go. So when you press the mode button, you can then use the roller wheel on the same side to go through and choose your radio station. FM, AM, obviously the DAB. Music collection is the hard drive, so there's I think it's about an 80 gig hard drive in them. And then the button at the bottom will show the last dialed numbers when the phone is connected. Now when you're using the mode button down here for the driving mode, it will also show you not just down here what mode you're in, but up on the display up here. So in Eco Pro or Comfort, the suspension will be relaxed, and when you go into Sport or Sport Plus, the suspension will stiffen. Now in Sport you can configure a choice of drive chain and chassis, or drive chain and chassis. Chassis will be the shock absorbers, drive chain is the power. So you can set both to change, or just the chassis, so it will just change the ride of the car but won't put it into an ECU setting for the engine in sport. The drive chain will change the ECU setting for sport for the engine, but not the chassis, so it will stay in a softer ride. Or you can have it to change both, so you've got more power and a stiffer shock absorber, etc. Now they all have that rocker button down there, but you need to know that the car was built, and one of the options was the adaptive suspension. And then here you can see you've got your auto gearbox, sport on the gearbox there, so you've got engine controls, ECU settings on the drive modes, and then you've also got sport on the gearbox. And you'll notice that up here it's gone to S1. We're also in sport for the ECU drive modes. We'll take that out, put it back in comfort. If you pull the paddle, it'll go into manual mode. So you've got 8-speed gearbox. To take it out of manual mode, literally flip, let's just zoom out a bit, flip the gearbox over. If you've put the car into sport down here and pulled the paddle, and the gearbox is still in normal, flip it over to the left, back to the right, and that will put it back into auto. Okay, we've got heated seats, 3-stage, whoops, one too many presses, dual climate control, which is quite nice. And then, as I say, we've got the media, professional media up here. Now, if I just zoom in a little bit, I don't want it to jiggle around too much. This is where you've got all your radio stations, etc., Bluetooth, audio, and we've got the Harman Kardon. So this is where you can set the treble bass, etc. in there. We've got a USB port also in the glove box there. We go back to manual. Communication is all the telephone, manage mobile devices. Very easy to connect up and delete on the BMW, unlike Audi's, which I find always a bit of a nightmare. Navigation, address input, nice and easy. You can either use voice, or you can write on the top of the wheel like so. If we put our own postcode in there, if we need a space, just put a line from one side to the other.
Space.
Creates a space. Ooh.
5 R Y.
There you go. And then start your guidance. And we've got it on
the arrow on the
split at the moment on the screen.
Turn right.
If we push the Idrive wheel over to the right hand side, then push down, we can choose which window we want on this side. So you can have various different things from your media. If you go right back up to the top, you can turn off the split screen. And then we've got the map. Now the map, if you go onto the left hand side, flip it one way then the other, you can see this is where for like route guidance, so we can stop route guidance, which we'll do. Go back over to the left. If you flip through here, it will tell you what each of these ones are. We go to map views. Yeah, so we're in direction of travel. Now using the numbered buttons down here, we can use these as shortcuts. So if I just run my finger lightly across them, you can see that they highlight. We can save that view. So you can save basically some of the views, not all of them, but some of the features in here onto these shortcut buttons. So if we go to perspective view, press number 8, and that's saved. So if I press number 7 now, it'll flip the view the other way, which is a lot better for city centres when you're trying to judge how many turnings before you turn off. It's easier to see in this view. When you're on the motorway, some people prefer this view here. You can also put telephone numbers into these buttons down here as well. If you go into the number that you wanted to dial and then press and hold one of the buttons, it will save it and you'll see it assigned to the top up here. Right, what else have we got? So that's go on to the next one. Connective drive services. So this is where you can pay BMW if you wish to have some of the apps and features in the car and connections. My vehicle, this is where you're going to find all the settings, things like lights, interior, you can change the color. Sport is a white light, classic is the traditional BMW orange, like so, which you'll find in the door handles as well. That tends to show up a lot better, I find, especially during the day when I'm trying to film it. Speed warnings, drive modes, etc. come out of there. Idrive settings, you can change the units in here, mobile devices, touchpad, date time. We go into here, if you want power, we've got it in kilowatts, let's put it in horsepower, put that in pounds per foot. Come out of there, we've got sound. Driver profiles, you can set each key up and name the key in this section, and it'll memorize all of your dab stations and mirrors, positions, etc. for the car. Vehicle status, this is where we're going to find the service history. Once you're moving away, the picture of the car here, we've got two little lines next to it. So on these, you get the tyre pressure and you get the tyre temperature. So you can see when the tyres have come up to temperature. We've got engine, oil level, check control, service requirements in here, brake fluid. I think the last service this had done was just before Christmas, and it was a big service. It had the spark plugs, everything was done. Brake fluid's not due till next September. Oil next September, or 14,000 miles. It's had its vehicle check. Rear pads 15,000, front 18,000. If we go in here, you can see, going right back to the beginning, this is the oil and microfilter. This is generally a brake fluid change, yeah. The first one's 3 years, after that's every 2 years. And then that was an engine oil change. I think that might have been done by us with our BMW specialist. And then the last service was engine oil, brake fluid, vehicle check, microfilter, air cleaner, spark plugs. So all of that has just been done. So the next service will just be a small service, basically. Okay, we'll come out of there. Notifications just for your phone, etc. So I think we've done enough. We've got the all the books in there as well. There's 2 keys with the car. All of the trim inside in really nice condition. So we've also got the parking sensors, as I said, so that's the display for it, front and rear. We've got the wall behind us, which is what it's picking up. I think we've covered most of that. We've got speed limiter and cruise control on this stalk here. When you put the speed limiter on, you can adjust the speed in the center there in the green. Turn that off, cruise control, and then you can set the cruise control. Obviously we're not moving, so we'll turn that off. Oh, we're still in drive. Let's take that out. We've got extended storage just under there as well, and that's what part of the net was in the boot. That is 2 pulls to lift the bonnet. I'm going to leave the door just open a fraction, so I'll give it a little burst in a second. So this is the straight 6 twin power turbo. Now it's a dual cool turbo, or twin scroll turbo I should say, and basically the turbo has 2 inlet ports, 3 cylinders driven through one side and the other 3 through the other side. It makes for a much more responsive turbo, and very little lag on these, and better fuel consumption, a much more punchier kick when you put your foot down. Now these are rated at 335 brake horsepower. It's quite well documented online that when put on a rolling road they make just over 350. Some have made, nearly 360. This one has not been remapped. We do a Celtic remap, and that will take it to 431 brake horsepower on a stage 1, which is safe for this engine and gearbox. We've got, oh, that's the other thing I forgot. These are adaptive lights at the front, and we've got high beam assist as well. So with the adaptive lights, when you move the steering, as you're turning and you're moving the steering wheel sensor, or angle sensor I think it's called, will actually make the lights point more to the left or right, so they're guided, the lights, with the steering wheel. So when you're in the country on a nice road, it lights up nice and bright in the direction that you're turning. All lovely and clean under there. And there's a little camera up on the top here, I don't know if you can see that, which is part of the high beam assist. So you can have the main beam on, the high beam assist turned on, and the camera will pick up cars coming the other way, or a lit up village or street lighting, and it will automatically dip the headlights for you. So a lot of nice spec on the car. I think I've covered everything. We will list everything in the advert. If you've got any questions, please give us a call. We've got obviously finance packages, we've got some fantastic warranty packages, and some really good cover that you can take up to 4 years now as an extended policy. So just let you see that car one more time from the outside as it's running. In fact, we're going to give the engine a blip, aren't we? That's what we were going to do. So we'll just move round. Okay, let's give that engine a blip now that it's warmed up. So, first of all, we're going to put it in sport, which opens up the valve on the near side. And as you can hear, there's a lot more burble. And what's really nice is when you're actually, moving along in the car and you change down manually with the gearbox, you get a lovely burble sort of as you knock down through the gears. Well, thank you for taking the time to watch the video, and look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye.